Right. Um, Today we shall begin with the speaking test. So I'm glad we were able to get done with the essay writing yesterday. I will also have a number of IELTS essay writing questions, like the ones you paraphrased. You can now try to develop any of them. Do a complete essay with as many of them as you can. But I want to see the best from you submitted to me by Monday. So over the weekend, work on all of them, but submit the best out of the 5. No, one, we actually used one to, right? So pick any other one from there and write and bring on Monday by God's grace. Alright? Rocky, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright, Mrs. Cordy, are you there? She's not yet online. Okay, so today we shall begin with the speaking test. The speaking test. Let's begin by understanding why we need to speak. By default, this test is called an English language proficiency test, known as IELTS. So, the language can only be proven in 2 ways: by your way of speaking and by writing. Those are the 2 primary ways you can express a language, right? That's the aspect of reading, the aspect of listening. They are just additional. So, if you ask anyone, why did you go to school? The primary reason for going to school is to learn to read and write. Right? So, when you are able to read, you are saying it out. Because formerly, the best way we learned to read publicly was by bringing people out to stand in front of the class. It was a moment I always look forward to for me. Yes. So whenever they want to start, before the teacher, after writing or before the teacher comes, I'm already raising my hand to be called out to start the reading exercise, because I had interest in English. Then I used to carry pocket dictionary. This pocket dictionary, I usually take it anywhere I went. And when my teacher begins to teach, my primary aim while teaching is going on is not always to learn, but to wait for background from the teacher. I want to write. So then it was fun for me. And at the end of every lesson, I'll bring my friends together and we begin to look at the background that some teachers.
We had books for it then.
Thank you. Right, so it was really that lifestyle that actually triggered my interest to go into English. Then at school, I had to study English and French. So it was just a continuation of what I started. Okay, so speaking test. Why do they want to put you to test? Why do they want to have you speak? It is basically because they know that we are not native speakers of English, right? We have our own languages. Like in Nigeria, for instance, we are not English speakers. We only have English as our lingua franca, official language. Is that correct? Now, by origin and default, Nigeria is multilingual, right? And every region have got their own dialect. In fact, in each region you go to, there are numerous languages that amongst themselves, they won't even understand each other when they begin to speak. So because of all of these, there should be a unifying language. That is why the government now adopted English. Now, the way nature is, anything that is existing first will always try to shoot against any other force that is coming in. Just like in families. When there is the first wife, any other wife that's coming in must, the first one wants that one to pay homage. Right? Now, our spoken English in Nigeria, for instance, will always be affected by our native language. That's why when you go to the east, the Igbo part of Nigeria, you hear someone, a beautiful lady, will come out and say, I landed in Lagos for ransom, and my name is Linda.
It's not all Igbo people though.
I said, when you go to the east,
It's not everybody that has that around L factor. It's only Anambra people.
no, it's not even Anambra people.
Imo, we don't have it.
A part, few parts, or few parts of Anambra, not all of them. When you go to Abia State, some of them also have this. When you go to Enugu, some of them also have it. So people come out and say, my name is Irinda, I landed in Lagos from London. Everybody is play hard, and they think you want them to play. Then when you go to the West, you see someone speaking English. My heart is hurting me. I went to church, and everybody was shouting. That is, you see some part from Ogbomosho, you see some part from Oshisi. They have this SHCH factor. You go to the north, you see some of the northerners will tell you, my bruiser from the north is coming, everybody kai, listen everybody. These factors made the IELTS examiners to want to test you and I, to be sure that we can communicate. Speaking does not mean communication. You can speak, but you may not be communicating. So they want to see how you can speak. Now, when you're speaking, when they are examining you, what are they looking out for? They want to see your fluency, how fluent you can speak. They want to see your pronunciations, how you are able to pronounce words correctly. They want to see your enunciation, how you are able to bring in voice modulation. They don't want you to be a flat talker. You know, flat talkers are considered to be boring talkers. And you find some people who are flat talkers, people categorize them under two things. One, they are too proud. Two, they are rich. Who are flat talkers? Those guys that will come out and say, good morning everybody. My name is Professor Johnson. Today I want to tell you a little bit about how I grew to this level. Some years back I started this journey and it was really quite crazy. I must tell you, it has not been an easy way. It's just there, nothing interesting. But when you see someone who applies voice modulation, the same person wants to give the same narrative, and the person tells you, hi, good morning everyone. My name is Professor Johnson. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I got to this level. I must tell you, it wasn't an easy route. So we had a lot of rough experiences. People had to draw, but I kept on pushing. You see, the rising and falling of the voice, not accent. So IELTS wants you to apply that if you can, but it's not compulsory. Now, during your speaking test as well, IELTS examiners want to see your confidence. What is the major way you can show confidence? By keeping eye contact with the examiner. Remember, in Africa, we are nurtured to always try to look away when you're talking to an elder. When you look at an elder, either when the person is talking to you or when you're talking to the person and you're looking straight in the eyes, they see you as a disrespectful child. You don't have respect. You're looking at me. One grandma in the village telling me, you want to beat me? Right? But the West believe that through your eyes, they can tell if you are saying the truth. They can tell if you are real about whatever you're saying. They can tell if you are lying, if you are nervous, if you are tensed. Through your eyes, they will read that. Also, when you're speaking, they want to see how you are able to understand the question asked, and your ability to also respond to the question correctly. Possible. So because of all of these factors, there is the need for you to show off your speaking skills. Now, when this speaking session comes in, it is also important for you to understand that your speaking test lasts for a period of 10 to 15 minutes only. Just within 10 to 15 minutes, you are done.
So it's not going to ever exceed?
No.
Because what if in a situation where, like, for instance, a center where there are not too many people?
15 minutes maximum.
Okay.
If there are too many people, test takers to be examined for that day, 10 minutes you're done. So let me give you one skill. If you get to the environment, go straight, no. When the number of test takers for that day happen to be so many, you need to go straight to your answer to each question first before you begin to buttress. But if you are just a handful, maybe a few of you are available for that day, then the examiner will have so much time to scrutinize you. So when you speak and you feel you're done, you're looking at the examiner, in your mind you say, but the examiner is still looking at you. That means they want you to say more. Say more things. Right? Then, your speaking test is divided into 3 parts. Right. Your speaking test is divided into 3 parts. The first part is called the introductory session. The introductory session is the speaking session that you get to be asked questions revolving around you and your immediate environment. So you need to really know about yourself, about your community, about your environment. Environment could be your local environment and the global environment. So you need to have good knowledge and information about your environment. Part 2. For part 2, you're going to be asked question, or you're going to be given a paper called Q card. Examiner does not engage you in your during your part 2. Rather, there will be examiner would hand a question over to you with a little piece of paper for you to make notes if you wish to. And then for that part 2, you are going to be speaking for at least 2 minutes, uninterrupted. Uninterrupted. So it's the part where you need to show off. Part 1, it's just about Q&A, question and answer. So examiner just asks you a question and you respond, the examiner asks, you respond, and it goes on and on. But for part 2, examiner does not ask you any question. So you would speak based on whatever situation you are meant to describe that's written on the cue card. And you have to speak for 2 minutes. Right? Now, part 3. We call this the supporting or follow-up question session. Here, examiner gets to ask you more questions just as in part 1. Now, the questions in part 3 could be related to either the cue card topic, whatever topic you spoke about from the cue card. In part 3, you may be asked questions that relates to it indirectly. You may also be asked questions that is in line, or you may ask questions that are in line with your profession. You know, when you're filling or registering for the IELTS exam, you must indicate your occupation. So let's assume you are a medical doctor. You may be asked questions revolving around health. Do you understand this? Then lastly, your supporting or follow-up questions may come from the word question session. There are questions we call weird questions. Weird. I would throw a lot of that. So I always tell people, besides the fact that you are preparing, you're studying hard for the test, you also need to pray for a friendly examiner. You need to pray for a friendly examiner. A friendly examiner might help you to calm your nerves when you walk into the testing room. Right? You know, when you are tensed, you'll be blowing back out here and there, you won't know. Your ears will process, or your ears will not even hear. You are speaking. The only thing that might give you a signal that the tiao is so much is when the examiner begins to look at you with some stern look. Your mind should tell you, oh boy. Right? That's why you need to keep eye contact with the examiner. Sometimes their facial gestures will pass a message to you. Right?
Well, is it like when you walk into the exam room, how are you supposed to greet the examiner? How are you supposed to, are you supposed to put up a smile or something?
Are you a friend of Matilda?
What squeeze your face?
Matilda is not yet here.
At least.
She's always very fast. So we'll get to that level.
Okay, well.
Yes. So, besides the fact that you are studying really hard for the test, you also need to pray for a good examiner. Not that the examiners are bad, no. But there are examiners you get to meet that are strictly official. They are strictly formal. So they don't care about smiles, because that's not why they're not there. They are not comedians. They're not there to make you laugh or smile. So when you meet such persons, you know the typical Nigerian professors, right? They will look at you from
Serious.
right? So it's just there, and when you're coming in, tension may set in from the lobby. When you are in the lobby and you hear, "Who is Nena? Rosemary?" It's me. You are going with it. The heartbeat begins to run faster than the destiny. Right? So when you now try to manage attention and it's not working for you, and you walk in and you meet somebody that is looking
So I can just give up.
right? So it would add up. It would increase. So, but if it is a jovial examiner, a welcoming examiner, the person will look at you and tell you, "You look tensed. Calm down. It's nothing so serious. This is just conversation." Right? Is this your first experience? And you're like, "Yes." Say, "Fine, so you have nothing to worry about. Calm down."
Will they give you water?
They won't give you water, but you are free to go with water. But when you go, whichever water you're going with, remove the wrapper. It has to be transparent. Bottled water precisely, right? Don't go with your normal water flask or buy any of the bottled waters, but remove the wrapper. So if some people use water to calm their nerves, right? Some people use gum to calm their nerves too, right? Some people will add little in the water, so that their head will be far away when they are speaking. It works for some people, but if you put it so much, you might just be laughing at the examiner. So please practice and know what works for you. Speaking test is something that needs your complete psychosomatic status. They want you to be there, right? Don't be under any influence. All right. So your speaking test, when you walk into the test room, you meet someone will be there waiting for you. The speaking test can be conducted physically or virtually. Right? Now, physically means there is a physical examiner seated and waiting for you. The virtual package or platform is someone is on the screen live waiting for you. That person may not be in your local environment or territory. The person may have been co-opted from within their headquarters or any other partner office. So when you walk in, if it is the physical one, of course, you meet an examiner seated, already seated. It is okay to say hi, good morning, or hello, good morning. IELTS test is not looking for sir or ma. Do you understand? I always tell you it's not Nigerian exam. Yeah. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Please, as you walk in, just exchange very formal pleasantry. Hello, good morning. An examiner will tell you, hello, good morning, please have a seat. So when you are offered a seat, what does courtesy demand?
Thank you.
Thank you. Then you grab the seat, right? Some people, they've not been offered this any seat, they are there, right? It may be rude to the examiner, but it may also be, well, I like his courage. It depends. So when you offer the seat, thank you, then you have a seat. When you sit, remember it is a conversation you're about to have with the examiner, not interview. I'm saying it this way so that you won't bog your mind with the mindset of interview. You know what happens when you are going for an interview? Take that mindset off. Consider it to be a conversation you are going to have with someone you've never seen. So when you get in there and the examiner offers you a seat, learn to sit confidently. Don't sit one-sided. If you are seen sitting that way, they know that already you are tensed. And it's one negative for you. So sit confidently and then get ready for the...
Can you demonstrate the sitting?
Now you can sit 90, they call it 90 degrees. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
You zoom with him to our
Good morning.
This one is
Hello,
tense.
good morning. Yes, good morning. Hello, good morning.
No.
Right, so, good morning. Hello, good morning. So how is it?
Smile.
Very well. The secret to cover tension is smile. Smile, always. Even when the question hits you, some people say, that question hits you really hard. Just smile. In your mind, smile. You are wicked. But smile. Right? Then, when you sit and the examiner maybe is trying to complete the studying your information, right? Before he or she begins to ask you questions, you might be tensed within yourself. So one way to reduce that tension is what we call breaking the ice. You need to break the ice by way of establishing what we call unofficial rapport. Unofficial rapport could be, please, I really appreciate the fabric. Looks like a Senegalese fabric. I just try to create conversation. Right? Wow. Nice hair you're wearing. Nice hair you're wearing. Oh, thank you. You look a little familiar. I don't know if I've seen you somewhere or I've never seen you. You just create that rapport. So when you are having such rapport, naturally you'll be getting so easy with yourself, right? But when the examiner is trying to go through your information, in your mind you are saying, God, this guy, God help me. In your mind, tension is building up. The more. So try as much as possible, if you can, to create an official rapport before the speaking test begins proper. Then, once the examiner is ready, some examiners will try to calm you down by engaging you with some or in some unofficial rapport as well to make you calm down a little more. Then some examiners might also let you know the preambles and modus operandi of the speaking session. So I'll be your speaking test examiner for today. I would like to get some confirmations from you. Your name is blah 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 and you enrolled for the blah 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 IELTS test. Please confirm this. You say yes, very well. Alright, so for the purpose of this examination and documentation, I'm going to be recording our conversations. I hope you're comfortable with that. And you're like, yes. Alright, so we're about to begin. Are you ready? Yes. The examiner will punch on the recording button. And then, examiner who was speaking to you with the normal English can switch. The examiner can switch. So, if it is such examiner, then it's fine. Don't rush yourself. Just take it slow and steady. So when you hear, for the purpose of documentation and any other thing, I would like to record our conversations. I hope you're comfortable with that and you're like, yes. So we're about to begin. Are you ready? Yes. Hi, good morning. My name is Benedict. I'll be examining for today. Can I please know your name? And you're like, can I please know your name? That one just hit you. Okay, my name is Benedict. Okay. You're just trying to also start something you cannot sustain. No. So when an examiner is throwing off the stunts of phonetics, of accent, you have never practiced accent. You have never practiced speaking phonetics. The best you speak is the normal English. After that, you go back to your normal street with your guys, right? So why do you want to start something you cannot sustain? When examiner throws a lot of rush phonetics at you and accent, you take it easy, right? Come down and speak. Do you understand? Now, if the examiner rushes you with such and you calm it down, the examiner will try to rush again to confirm whether you take it slow again. And once you continue with that pace, examiner will now come down to your pace. Right? So please, do not start what you cannot continue. Alright, for your speaking test, there are some things we call speaking rules. The speaking test rules. Rule number 1. Always speak audibly. Always speak audibly. Remember that your conversations are going to be recorded, right? So it will be favorable to you to ensure that you are audible whenever you speak. Okay, next rule. Never form an accent. Never form an accent. As a matter of fact, I always tell people, emulate, borrow a leaf from the Indians. You hear the Indians speak very natural. They don't care about your accent. India will tell you, God bless you, thank you very much. Just a little more time and we'll be there. You will dance for us. That's the way they speak. It is their own natural accent. And wherever they go, they speak that way. So why would someone who does not have an international passport be forming accent for you? You find that here, but so much. You go to some families, cartoon has built mansion in the children's brain. Oh man. You see children speaking without some accent.
Schools teach phonetics now.
Yes, but that is not even the origin. They only speak the teaching of phonetics just for 40 minutes.
The cartoon is what?
Cartoon. They mimic everything they see on that screen. So this rule says never form an accent. So please be very natural while you speak. Next rule. Avoid giving short answers to questions. Avoid giving short answers to questions. Next rule. Do not begin to speak or respond to a question you have not clearly understood. Do not begin to respond to a question you have not clearly understood. Feel free to request a repeat or rephrasal of any question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat. You're free to paraphrase a question to confirm that it is actually what was asked. Next rule. Always bring in examples to buttress your point, if time permits. Always bring in examples to buttress your point, if time permits. Another question. Keep speaking until the examiner asks you another question. Next rule. You're free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. You're free to make use of natural fillers. You are free to make use of natural fillers, but do not overuse them. These are natural fillers. How do we pronounce this word or this natural filler? Pardon? What about this guy? They are natural fillers. When do we use them?
If you want to pause.
When you are stammering.
If you want to pause, maybe to take a breath.
You want to take a pause to breathe.
Yes.
That's when you use So if I want to breathe
No, or maybe when you want to make another point.
or when you want to make another point.
Or if they ask you questions, if you want to think.
Remember something.
And what's it called?
When you are doing what? When you are trying to remember what to say. When you're trying to remember what to say. Right? That's when you bring in that natural filler. Or when you are trying to remember the right word to use to express yourself. Use them. These are English natural fillers. Do not use the native, your local natural filler. I hope you know you have local natural fillers, right? When you go to Igbo, Igbo will tell you that's the Igbo version. When you go to the Yoruba, they'll tell you Bogbe. That's their natural fillers. When you go to the north, you hear Kai. Kai. That is their natural filler. So, but this is not a Nigerian exam. It's an international exam, an English exam. So you must apply the English natural filler or fillers. Do not overuse them. Don't overuse them means don't begin to bring it in between every word just because you want to buy time. You don't have a lot of things to say. You then begin to bring it in. My name is Benedict, aka I actually come from this will reduce your mark. Remember, I said earlier that examiners want you to be fluent. So bringing in this a lot more or so frequently will do what? Drop your fluency. Right? Next rule. The use of non-verbal communication is welcomed, but do not abuse it or abuse them. The use of non-verbal communication is welcomed, but do not abuse them. Just imagine. You don't know.
That's how I'm doing my hair like this.
Non-verbal communications are expressions you make with your body without saying a thing. Right? They are expressions you make that pass messages to people without you saying a thing. Do you understand? So, of course, you are free to make use of them when necessary, but do not abuse or overuse them. Do you know why? Because you are supposed to go for speaking. You are supposed to do more of speaking. Right? But there are situations you would use them. You might even use them, you won't know. You don't even know that you are using them. So when you are expressing yourself, or when an examiner asks you a question, and that question happens to be something you have experienced, or something someone actually had told you beforehand, that you may see this type of thing, or you may hear this type of question. When such question comes, there's a reaction that you show off on your face. Sometimes you even do that unconsciously. Right? So those are non-verbal communications. Let's assume someone is standing right in front of me, and the person is asking for something, or asking or seeking permission from me, or the person turns around to talk to someone after speaking to me. Maybe I had told the person no problem, it's fine, and then the person turns around to actually pass the information, and I'm like, do you understand that? I've told the person no. That is non-verbal. Tell me about something that was quite hilarious, right? So you should try as much as possible to bring them in, but when necessary. All right. So these are some of the rules you must bring in. Remember, always keep eye contact with the examiner while speaking is another important rule. Always keep eye contact with the examiner while speaking. Always keep eye contact with the examiner while speaking. So this will help. It will help you to know when the examiner is actually enjoying what you're saying, right? It will help you to know if the examiner is surprised by what you're saying or at what you're saying. It will help you to also know if the examiner is listening to you or not. Okay? So please try as much as possible to keep eye contact with the examiner. Lastly, you are strongly advised to bring in voice modulation while speaking, if you can. You are strongly advised to show off or bring in voice modulation while speaking, if you can. Voice modulation, you spell it as modulation. It's pronounced as modulation. Okay, now what is voice modulation? What does it mean? To modulate, what does it mean? Rising and falling of your voice. Rising and falling of your voice. For instance, if I walk up to you and say, Madam, I'm hungry. Madam, I'm hungry. You're like, do I know you? Right? It sounds somehow. But if I come to you and I'm like, Madam, I'm hungry. Excuse me? I just said I'm hungry. You know, you might have pity on me and look for something like this because of voice modulation. If I tell you, come here, it sounds commanding, right? But if I say, come here, it means I want to perform a miracle. Right? So you're strongly advised to apply it if you can. It's not compulsory. So these are some of the rules you should hold on to during your speaking test. So we shall get into the first part of the speaking test.
Sir, excuse me.
Okay. All right, let's begin. So for part 1, like it is entitled Introductory Session. Now, introductory session I explained earlier to be the section where you get to be asked questions bordering around yourself or your immediate environment, right? Now, these are some of the questions you may likely be asked, but they are not limited to this. Now, like I said earlier, speaking test is usually just between you and the examiner only. Just you and the examiner. Whereas the LRW, that's the listening, reading, and writing, I said, I think on Monday, that you get to take the listening, reading, and writing in the hall with over 50, 100, 200, 400, 500 other test takers in the hall. It depends. But for speaking, it is just you and the examiner only. So, when you walk in and then all the pleasantries and preambles and other things have been completed, once the examiner begins, you will be asked, or examiner will introduce himself or herself to you. For instance, my name is Benedict Eke. Please, what's your name? So, what's your name is the only question that accepts short answers. Or short answer. What's your name is the only question that accepts short answer. The reason is simple. There is just a very straightforward approach to responding to what's your name. Doesn't require any other additional information. Okay? So, and also it is important I say this, speaking test accepts contractions as formal communication. Do you understand this? Yes. Speaking test accepts contractions as formal expressions. You know what contractions are? Madam, please, what are contractions? We have treated them.
Don't.
Huh? Don't. Can't. Won't. Shan't. Those are contractions. Those are contractions. It is a proof of your in-depth knowledge, understanding, and command of the English. It is proof of your in-depth knowledge, understanding, and command of the English. So you are free to show off a lot of contractions while speaking. So, for instance, when you are asked the question, what's your name? There are 4 possible ways you can respond to that question. Okay. On Friday last week, when I had mock speaking test with us, I told you that I will explain why. I'll give you the reason some big men will stand up in big occasions and tell you my name is Aha. So right here, these are 4 templates that you can choose to express your name. So when an examiner asks you, all right, my name is Benedict Eke, please, what's your name? You can choose to say, my name is, then you say your full name. Don't just give one name, your full name, especially the name you have on your international passport or any means of identification you are using for the exam. Do you understand this? But you are not compelled to follow the name chronologically. That's the way it's arranged. You know, on international passports, you have surname, then given names, right? You are not compelled to follow that order. You're not even compelled to start with maybe surname, first name, middle name, or first name, middle name, surname. It could be any of them. Then try as much as possible to give your full name. Do you understand this? When you are saying your name during your speaking test, if your name is not English, if it's not an English name, please do not rush your name. Say the name slowly. Please, do you understand this? Say the name slowly. For instance, what's your name? My name is Judge Bush. Judge Bush. Very strict, right? You can decipher the one that is George and the one that is Bush. But if you bear the regular Yoruba or Edo name, you know how, I know it's usually like one sentence. My name is Oluwa Kiki Oluwa Shiwo for me, Jesus for me. You know those type of long names, right? Or you want to use the Edo name. You say my name is Osalo Buame Obayoma. So when your name is not English, please take it slowly. So I want to give you an Igbo name, for instance. Alright, my name is Benedict Eki. What's your name? Alright, good morning. My name is Chukwemeka Onyenyere Mumwa. Alright? So you are breaking it. Examiner would hear what you're saying, and also it will be captured in the recording. That recording is very important. The reason the recording is there is in a case where your test result comes out and you feel you are on the mark, the result is not up to what you performed. You can file a remark. Yes, you can. So when you file for that remark, of course you're going to pay, it's not for free. When you file for the remark, it is the recorded version that will be sent to another examiner to re-evaluate. Do you understand? So if the test result comes out and it increases higher than what you were given, they will refund you the money. But if the result if the result remains the same, it does not drop lower than what it is. It doesn't drop. It either remains the same or it increases. So if it increases, you get back your money. If it remains the same, your money is gone. That's just the way it works. So if you are undergoing or having your speaking session, please always speak audibly. It's for your own good in case you never can tell. So what's your name? My name is, give your full name. What's your name? My name is, that's where the big men say my name is R. They don't know that inside our names there is contracted. Do you understand? You know, most times we blow grammar, we don't know the origin. How it came about. So, what's your name? My name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. It's different from my name is Benedict Eke. My name is Benedict Eke. My name is, see, the stress comes at that point. My name is Benedict Eke. Then another one, what's your name? I am Benedict Eke. I am Benedict Eke. What's your name? I am. Not am. I am Benedict Eke. A lot of us say I'm coming. So you're trying to say I am coming. And you end up saying coming. You remove your personal pronoun. So to express that correctly, you have to say I am coming. Alright? I'll. Alright? So I will come, then you contract the other one and join to it. Don't always omit I. Okay? So that's the way to express yourself. If your name is not English, please remember to say your name slowly. The native part. Say it slowly. Then once you express your name, examiner will then ask you, what can I call you? Remember you just said, my name is Benedict Eke. Alright, so what can I call you? this is where the English begins. You can simply say, well, you can call me by my English name, Benedict. You can call me by my native name, Abdul. Or I want to show off. I'll simply say, what can I call you? Well, I'm fondly called Benedict by my friends and family, as well as my colleagues. But for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. That's what you are expressing. Right? Remember, that is the essence of the test. I want to hear you speak. So what can I call you? Well, I'm fondly called Benedict by my friends and family, but for the purpose of this exam, especially for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. So I'm not just telling you what to call me, I'm giving you a reason. You should call me that. So it's easier for the examiner to say, all right, Ben. But remember as well, whatever you like to be called must not be your name per se. It could be your acronym. It could be your nickname. Do you understand? Yes. You can call me by my nickname, CJ. You can call me by my football name, JJ. You just have to establish whatever you want to be called. It doesn't affect anything, right? So once you tell the examiner what you would like to be called, from that moment, the examiner begins to address you by that name, because they want to be, it's conversation, so they want to be addressing you by a name. All right, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? That's your international passport or your means of identification. All right, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Oh, sure. Bring out your international passport and...
Okay, you must have it with you.
You must, on the day of your speaking test, you are to go with only two things. Your international passport, the original, not the print out, not photocopy, not soft copy. Nobody would accept and let you in. It must be the international passport. Please don't forget this. Don't submit it to the embassy and then come for they won't welcome you. So when the examiner asks you, okay, so Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? You're like, oh, sure. Here you go. Or, yes, please. Here is my means of identification. Or, of course, this is my means of identification. You must say something that will synchronize with the action of showing or giving. It is speaking test. It's not like, Ben, may I take a look at your means of identification? And you're like, this is not sign language. You need to say something. Right? So when you give that and say whatever you have to say to the examiner, please do not speak the popular English that people say, yes, please, you can have it. You can have it means I dash you. So in case you go with your passport and don't return with it, you spoke English and sold it out. Right? So do not say you can have it. You should say, sure, here is it. Or here you go. Yes, please, you can take a look at my means of identification. So that is just, those are ways you can express those or that particular question. Now, when the examiner takes a look at your passport, looks at the names, remember you had given your name, right? So the examiner looks at the name and takes back or goes back to what you said, right? And then looks at the photo there and looks at you the same. Examiner will tell you, all right, thank you so much, you can keep that back. Because they need to verify your identity. So once it's been pushed back to you, examiner will then proceed with the speaking session and ask you questions such as, all right, Ben, please tell me, where are you from? Where are you from? So for this question, you want to talk about, for that, you might want to take the examiner through these areas. So please tell me, Ben, where are you from? Well, I hail from a popular community called Igweben. In Igweben East local government area of Edo State, which is located in the southern part of Nigeria. You see, I took the examiner from my community, local government, state, geographic location, and then the country at large. Where are you from? Well, thank you so much. I come from a cradle community called Ife in Ife West local government area of Oyo State, which is located at the southwestern part of Nigeria. I come from a popular environment called Obosi in Obosi East local government area of Anambra State, which is located in the southeastern part of Nigeria. I come from a popular environment known as Kanuri in Kanuri North local government area of Borno State, located at the northern part of Nigeria. You see the way you have to go. You know, that day we had a speaking mock test. So of course we just, where are you from? I'm from Obosi. Obosi is in one of the eastern states in Nigeria. I go, okay. Right? So please, if you have this information, feel free to bring them in when you're expressing your place of origin. If you have them. There are people, I've had candidates from some other countries that they don't have community, they don't have local government, right? But they just have a community and a state. They don't have geographical location. So they just gave me their community, the name of the community, the state where it is located, and then the country. That's fine. But if you have all of those information, feel free and say them. Now, for the purpose of feedback, I'm going to take you through this particular stage from your name to your place of origin. So please give me a moment. Let me get a second microphone. All right, Mrs. Kodzi, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Mr. Rakib, are you there? Okay, maybe he has dozed off because we are 6 hours ahead of them. I'll start with you, Mrs. Kodzi. You would I want to hear you, or I'll ask you a few of the information based on the stage we've just completed. So I'll begin by running a model of the introductory parts for an examiner that wants to take you through the speaking test session. Please, I hope you're ready.
Okay.
All right, good morning. My name is Benedict. I'll be IELTS speaking test examiner for today. I would want to confirm some information about you. First and foremost, you are called Chinyere, is that correct?
Yes.
And for the purpose of this exam, I'm going to be recording our conversation. I hope you're comfortable with that.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so we're about to begin. My name is Benedict Eki. What's your name?
My name is Mokukodrienchi.
You know, I didn't hear your other name. You were fast. I said when you are giving your name, if it's not English, please try to slow the tempo or pace. I started by introducing myself and I said my name is Benedict Eki. You can differentiate between the two, right?
Yes.
So please learn to also go by that approach. So please tell me, what's your name?
My name is Mokukodrienchi.
What can I call you?
Okay, my friends and family call me Kodere, but for the purpose of this exam, you can call me Kode for easy pronunciation.
All right, Cody, please may I take a look at your means of identification?
You can take a look at it, man.
All right, thank you so much. Please tell me, Cody, where are you from? Where are you from?
Okay. I came from
You cannot came. No, you can't came. Have you denounced them?
What did you say?
You cannot say I came because you are still part of them. You are still a part of them.
Okay.
So I come from, right?
What will you say? I'm coming from.
No, you are not coming. I come from.
Okay, I come from.
You can say I come from. You can say I hail from. You can say I'm an indigene of. You can say I'm an origin. So whatever you want to use. But it is still a present continuous tense, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to take that question again. Please tell me, Cody, where are you from?
Okay. I am an origin of Aba, located in Aba South local government in Abia State. Abia State is located in southeast of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Rakib, I perceive you're not online. Okay, so I will continue with those right here in the class. Madam, please, here is the mic. You don't want to go through this process? All right. There you go. All right, good morning. My name is Benedict. Thank you. What's your name?
Good morning. My name is Mwapu Samuel Sunday.
All right, what can I call you?
You can call me Obi.
All right, Obi, may I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure you can.
I can do it.
Sure you can. Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you so much. Please tell me, where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Ndufualike. Ndufualike is a community in Ikwo local government area of Ebonyi State. Ikwo is the biggest local government in Ebonyi State here in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Please pass it to him. Good morning, my name is Benedict. Eke, what's your name?
Good morning, my name is Elisha Adewumi Ajibade.
All right, what can I call you?
Well, for the purpose of this exam, you can call me Elisha.
All right, Elisha, may I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure, here you go.
All right, thank you so much. Please tell me, Elisha, where are you from?
I'm from a small town in Odoti local government, Osun State, southwestern Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Please pass it to her. Good morning, my name is Benedict Eke. What's your name?
Good morning. My name is Messi Ezinne Joseph.
All right, Mercy, what can I call you?
You can call me Ezinne.
All right, Ezinne, please may I take a look at your means of identification?
Yeah, here you go.
All right, thank you so much. And let me know, where are you from, Ezinne?
I come from Ibere, Ben local government area of Abia State.
You are already used to me. Thank you so much. You didn't even tell me your country, but it's fine. Good morning, my name is Benedict Eke. What's your name?
Good morning. My name is Chukwugazi Gregory Identity.
And what can I call you?
For the purpose of this exam, you can call me Greg.
All right, Greg. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Sure. Here you go.
All right, thank you so much, Greg. And where are you from?
I'm from a popular community called Enugu, in Njikoka local government of Anambra State, located in the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Please pass to her. Good morning. My name is Benedict Eke. Please, can I take a look at your means of identification?
Sure, here you go.
All right, thank you so much. And what's your name?
My name is Ukono Sylvia Chidera.
What can I call you?
You can call me Sylvia for the purpose of this exam.
All right, Sylvia, where are you from?
I am from a small town, a small community in Bitolu. We are called Omunoha. It's located in Imo State Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Please pass it to her. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Benedict Eke. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Good morning, Benedict. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Please tell me, what's your name?
My name's Queenette Ian F.
What can I call you?
Just call me Queenette, it's fine.
All right, Queenette, may I please know where you hail from?
I'm from Cross River State, Calabar South, local government, located in the southern region part of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. We've tried. This is an exercise you need to actually carry out. Those viewing right there on the YouTube platform, you can drop your response to that question from this part to that part. Let's see. It's easy to write. I would have loved to hear because this is speaking test, right? But it's fine if you can express your place of origin, which would be fantastic if you can. So after expressing your place of origin, examiner would also ask you to talk about your community. Please tell me a little bit about your community. So to talk about your community, you need to make reference to where you are from, right? Like I said earlier, I'm an indigenous of so and so. And then you proceed by saying, my community has an estimated population of about so and so number of persons, and this includes both the indigents and migrants. We are generally known to be hospitable, industrious, religious, just give attributes. And we have a number of memorable events that are often celebrated annually. One of these would be our festival, which is called so and so, and this attracts people from all over the globe. We also have our native delicacy, a very fantastic and delicious native delicacy. It's called, you say what it is, right? It's a meal that is prepared with so and so. Give a little info, just very a snippet of the composition, right? Then you also proceed by saying, we are not just living all by ourselves. We are surrounded by a number of neighboring communities. And my community precisely is just about 30 minutes drive away from the city center. Do you understand? So these are ways you can express, give little information about your community. Do we understand this part? Alright, so after that, examiner will then ask you, okay Ben, please tell me, what do you do? What do you do? Examiner is looking to know your employment status. What do you do? Examiner want to know if you are employed, or if you are an entrepreneur, or if you are a student. These are the three categories that we have. Now, whatever it is that you do, express yourself, but make sure you are speaking. Don't just give any short answer. I'm going to just run a little model on what do you do. So if an examiner asks me, all right, Ben, please tell me, what do you do? Oh, thank you very much for this wonderful question. Well, having studied medicine in the university for 6 years and of course came out with a good grade, I've actually worked with a couple of health facilities. But of recent, I'm gainfully employed by the Federal Ministry of Health under National Hospital, Abuja. That's what I do. Do you understand this? So I'm trying to give a little background. Pardon?
Can you repeat what you said?
Okay, Yes, I just said, if an examiner, for instance, asks me, Ben, what do you do? I could say, I'm just running a model as an instance. I could simply say, thank you very much for this wonderful question. Well, having studied medicine in the university for 6 years and of course came out with a good grade, I've actually worked with a couple of health facilities. But at the moment, I'm gainfully employed by the Federal Ministry of Health under National Hospital, Abuja. That's what I do. So what do? I'm a medical doctor. Is that correct? Then examiner would ask you, what job do you do? What job do you do is asking to know about your job description, the roles you play as a medical doctor. So what job do you do? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As a licensed, qualified, and practicing medical doctor, I clerk my patients, I diagnose them of the ailments, I make prescriptions, I administer or direct them on the drug administration. I also do follow up to make sure they are responding to treatment. These are things, some of the things a medical doctor should do. Do you understand that? So you want to talk about your job descriptions, the roles you play as a medical doctor, right? Alright, so that's how to express what job do you do, right? So you just want to give a little information about your job descriptions. So you must know what you do as someone who is employed. You could be employed by the government or the private sector, right? You can as well be an entrepreneur. Who's an entrepreneur? A self-employed individual, right? So what do you do? Oh, thank you for this wonderful question. I'm actually self-employed, I'm an entrepreneur. So at the point of graduating from school, I discovered my passion to set up a business. Although it wasn't easy for me, I just had to raise little capital and begin as little as I could. but today it's actually it has come to stay. So it's a little bit recommendable. All right. So I run a firm where we do XYZ. Right. So that's just what you do you are self-employed. So what job do you do? Well, as a fashionista or as an educationist, okay, or whatever it is you do, okay, you want to really give some of the information, let people know your job roles, right? So it doesn't really require you to start giving history, but then you want to just outline some of the things you do as an entrepreneur, as the owner of the business. All right. So after stating or highlighting all that you do as an entrepreneur, that will be fine. Now, if you are a student, maybe you just graduated from either secondary school and looking to proceed or further your education to obtain a degree certificate. Or you have just graduated from the university and you are looking to get a job, or you are looking to obtain a master's. You are still a student. So what do you do? Thank you so much. Well, I must say that I just graduated from the university where I studied XYZ, and I'm currently running or observing a compulsory 1-year service under a scheme known as National Youth Service Corps. Right? I just graduated from the university where I studied XYZ, and currently I'm observing a compulsory national service known as, or under a scheme called NYSC. You should give a full meaning, right? So, notwithstanding, I'm also looking to further my education to obtain a master's degree. So that's for what you do as a student. If you are a student, the examiner would ask you what job do you do, because you are not working. Do you understand? Alright. You may then be asked, whether as a student or as someone who is employed or someone who is self-employed, examiner may choose to ask you about your drive. Why did you go for medicine? Why did you go for ophthalmology? Why did you go for neurosurgeon? Right? Is that? Why did you go for accounting? Why did you go for whatever it is? So you want to give feedback or response, establishing your reason for going into such professionalism or specialty. Right? So it could be because you've always wanted to get into such field while growing up as a child. You've always had a passion for that particular area. So you feel it is actually important for you to get it done and certified, right? Then it could also be that your family have always wanted so and so profession in the house. So it fell on your shoulders, right? It could also be because you admire someone in that profession. So the person happens to be your role model. So you're taking the steps of that same person. For instance, some doctors, some surgeons will tell you, I'm looking up to who? Ben Carson. Right? Because he successfully operated conjoined twins. Right? So you want to be like him, or you want to outshine him in the nearest future. So there must be something. It could also be because of the remuneration, the Benjamins. Right? In Nigeria, for instance, whatever line of job you want to go is not by passion. It is the Benjamins. Right? You are looking for something that the take home can take you home. Not the one you.
Can I ask a question?
Alright.
Like when they ask when I'm asked what I do, I understand. For instance, now I'm a footballer, but I read sociology in school, and I don't want to focus only on my career, my profession. I also have the drive and motivation in politics. You understand, the nearest future. So how can I bring that in? Or do I just have to talk about specifically about my career alone?
All right, thank you so much. You have a lot in your mind. A lot. Okay. First, a sociologist. Second, a footballer. Third, a future politician. Right? And then you want to factor all of these in your response to what do you do, right? Now you are no longer studying. That one is clear. So what you do, Ben? Well, thank you so much. This is an opportunity to actually express my ambition, my vision, my career. First, I studied sociology at school, and I graduated with a good grade. So I studied sociology. And by that, I am happy and confident to say that I am a sociologist. But notwithstanding, I have this great unquenchable passion for football. So I'm currently practicing the career as a footballer. I also aspire to be a politician in the nearest future. So I have a lot to actually talk about. But this is what I would like to share with you for. Do you understand? Speaking test is conversational. Don't regiment and restrict yourself by yourself. They want to see you speak. They want to see how you can express yourself. And remember, the speaking test questions are not something you may have pre-rehearsed. No. You may even rehearse certain questions and none of such questions will be asked. There are things you should just open your heart, open your mind, be prepared for any kind of question. Right? Anything you are asked. Like I always say, the greatest win for you before your speaking test is your confidence. If you are confident, there is no question you cannot answer, I tell you. But when that tension is around, village people is very close to you. Right? So, with simple questions that you will be asked, you are stammering, you stutter. Do you understand? Sometimes some people go blank. They don't even know what to say. You see their lips shaking. Right? So, whether it is a blonde as your examiner or a black, it doesn't still matter. Just have your confidence. Right? Be confident about it. So, whatever question you're asked, feel free and express yourself. There won't be any limitation, except when the number of people happen to be so much. So examiner won't let you speak for so long, responding to each question. Right? So let's proceed. Now we are at the level of societal issues. Yeah, we've talked about it. Role models, family, the Benjamin, and all that, right? No, I meant Benjamin, money. As the passion, as the drive, right? So let's go to societal issues. For societal issues, there is no single question called societal issues, but there are several questions that would come and they are related to societal happenings. For instance, yes. So for instance, you may be asked, please tell me, what kinds of families exist in your community? So what kind of families exist in your community? There are two primary types of families, the nuclear and the extended. So when you say there are two types of families in my community, and these include the nuclear and extended families, don't stop at that. By nuclear, I actually mean families that comprise mother, father, and the children, whereas the extended comprises the nuclear and their extended relations. Is that correct? You have defined and explained. Then the examiner might ask you, which do you prefer, the small or the large? The examiner has paraphrased. The examiner paraphrased nuclear and extended. So when you are responding to that, you should not use small and large. Go back to the nuclear, the formal expression, nuclear and extended family. So say the one you prefer and give reasons. Don't just say, I prefer nuclear family, and you go back to your shell. You should include reasons. So maybe nuclear, some persons might want to talk about the economic benefit of running a nuclear family, the privacy, the security, the welfare, and whatever it is. The extended family, someone might love it because it allows you to have a good number of people to always keep company, right? You have the liberty of sharing whatever wares you are using, any shoes, depending on the unity that exists in that family, right? So you just have to express yourself based on whatever you wish. Then you may also be asked, how do people spend time with their families in your community? Now, during your speaking test, examiners want to know or want to see you talk about the past, the present, and the future. So you could just respond to certain questions by making reference to what used to be and then what is. Do you understand? So how do people spend time with their families? Well, thank you for this wonderful question. I didn't see that coming. But then, in my community, I would say that before now, people spent past tense. People spent time with their families by eating dinners together. So after a day's hustle and bustle, they get to eat together from the same bowl. And while they are eating, they are sharing their experiences from that day's outing. So this helps them to bond, because that's the primary essence of spending time, bonding. Some persons will also say, well, before now, people spent time in my community on the farm. Everyone gets to meet on the farmland, and it's usually a very fun moment for us. We tend to compete amongst ourselves who is more industrious, who is more hardworking, right? So these are ways people spent time with their families in the past. It could also be that people spent time with their families in the past through tales by moonlight. I can remember in primary schools or secondary, that on Thursday, every Thursday by 6 p.m., 6 p.m., you hear tales by moonlight. Wonderful story there. Everybody will run upstairs. We want to go on tales by moonlight. Then at 8 on Thursday, you hear, this is super story. Everybody will run upstairs. These are moments you will see the entire quarters will be very calm. Everybody is watching these programs. So people spend time with their families that way. But due to civilization, a lot of people now spend time with their families in diverse ways. For instance, the affluent families spend time by organizing some form of picnics, either at the parks or gardens. Some even go as far as traveling to other states. For instance, Obudu Cattle Ranch. There's one at Bauchi. What do you call them? Yankari Reserve. Those that can afford to travel outside the country can go to Niagara Falls, Montreal. They go to Dubai and the likes. These are ways people spend time together just to have more time with their family members, to bond. Do you understand? So you can always express yourself, talk about how it used to be and how it is currently. Then, what is the primary aim of spending time with families? To bond, right? Then the examiner might also ask you, why have people decided to reduce the way they render assistance to the needy these days? One, insecurity, right? You don't know who you're giving a lift. It could be someone that has been planted to drop some form of exhibits in your vehicle, knowing that ahead of you there is a checking point where they have arrangements. So before then, the person may have alighted from your vehicle. So at getting to that point, the police or whoever team know where to search. So insecurity. It could also be that the person is a car. What do you call it? Is it carjacker?
Yes.
Right?
Carjacker.
Carjacker. Right? So the person might just be one of such persons, and you are giving a person a lift on a very lonely road, and the person pulls out and they will lay you, right? Or he or she will lay you and off. You've lost that vehicle unless it has tracker. Then it could also, people have decided not to render assistance because of some diabolical or fetish beliefs, right? Because in my community there is this belief that certain persons can use your resources to do some things that would work against you. It is also because of what? Abuse of the privilege. Some persons now have what we call entitlement mindset. So they believe my brother is Dangote, my brother is Obi Kubana, my brother is, so why should I work? He should be, what do they call it? Is it payrolling? I should be added to his payroll. Right? So mine is just to live a soft life. Every month I go and cash out. That is mindset. So what if tomorrow the person exits, moves on to the higher rank? Right? So what happens? So because of that, some persons have decided not to be regular assistants. They want you to get something doing. Right? So several reasons you want to give as to why certain persons have decided not to be regular assistants. Then you may also be asked, what kind of rewards or awards do people receive these days? What kind of rewards or awards do people receive these days? What will you say? There are several kinds of awards depending on the situation, right? You have merit award.
Merit award. And purchased.
A purchased award. Now, there are different kinds of awards and rewards that people receive these days. Some of which would be academic award. It could also be political award. It could be merit or award of recognition, right? It could be gifts, wedding gifts, birthday gifts. It could be anything. Even the academic award could be as a pupil in primary school, you perform excellently. The school might give you an award. At home, your parents can also give you an award, right? During your wedding, families will buy some awards and give to you, right? It could be house keys, it could be car keys, it could be anything. Political award could be decoration, it could be promotion, it could be appointment, anything. So awards are categorized into two, material and non-material award. Do you understand this? Then you may also be asked, please tell me, what is the favorite part of your house to you? What's the favorite part of your house to you? What is the favorite part of your house to you? The kitchen. Madam said the kitchen is the favorite part of our house. What about you?
My children's room, because of the way it's being decorated.
You decorated your children's room so that you like it. Yeah. Right? So, it depends. For me, my favorite room is the toilet. It's a place of peace and quietness. A place of inspiration for me.
Mine is the bathroom, not the toilet.
No. Mine is the toilet. I sit there.
Do you have socket there?
No, but it's charged. You understand?
It's my bathroom.
So it depends on what it is for you. So whatever it is, please give reasons why it is the favorite part of your house to you. It could be because of the decorations on the wall. It could be because of the paintings on the wall. It could be because of the setting of the place. It could be because it allows you to have wonderful view. Whatever it is. It could be because it gives you privacy. It allows you to express yourself by cooking the different things you have in mind. Okay. You may also be asked, please, Ben, tell me a little bit about your daily routine. Daily routine. So when an examiner requests to know about your daily routine, remember it says daily. And routine begins from the beginning to the end, right? So you want to talk about daily routine beginning with waking up, whatever you do when you wake up, preparing for the day, going into the business of the day, returning back home, and retiring at the end of the day. You must run this cycle. Then say it for the first day and then conclude by saying, and this is how it runs for the other days. Maybe except Saturdays and Sundays because activities differ and vary. Please, do you understand? Daily routine. Remember, you must begin and you must also end it. Then use it to make reference to other days. You may also be asked, please tell me, how do you spend your weekends? How do you spend your weekends? So, first, you must establish when weekends begin in your country. You know, different countries have different weekends. Some people, their weekend begins on Thursdays. Some people, it begins on Friday. Some people, it begins on Saturday. Do you understand? So, if I ask you, Mrs. Cordy,
Yes.
please, when does weekend begin in your country?
Saturday.
Thank you. And when does it end?
Sunday.
Sunday. Thank you.
That's
Sunday.
work.
Okay, Monday is work. So Saturday and Sunday. Alright? Rakib,
So,
please, when does weekend start over there?
Saturday,
And ends when?
Sunday evening.
Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Okay. When does weekend start in this part of Nigeria? Friday. And ends when? Sunday. When does your weekend begin?
My weekend begins on Friday and ends on Sunday.
Wow. The same thing? The same thing?
Saturday,
Your one begins on
Saturday,
ends when?
Sunday.
Sunday. Chief, yours begin when? Friday and ends
No,
when?
no, no, no.
Sunday.
Friday
Sunday.
ends Saturday.
Yours begins when? Ends
Week
when?
starts on Sunday actually.
Please, your weekend.
on Sunday.
Week
Your own
starts
starts on Friday or Saturday and ends when? And Sunday.
Generally, week in Nigeria, the week starts
Okay.
on Sunday.
Thank you.
Work starts on Monday.
If I'm your examiner and you tell me that your weekend begins on Saturday and ends on Sunday, you don't know your weekend.
Friday and ends on Saturday.
What is TGIF?
Tango is Friday.
What does it mean?
Weekend. So Fridays, Saturdays.
Weekends
Sundays.
begin on Fridays and ends on Saturdays. Sunday is the first day of the week. First day of a fresh week. Sunday. But it's not a working day. That's why people don't consider it. Please, do you understand this? Weekend begins on Fridays and ends on Saturdays. In Nigeria. But in some other countries, it will definitely differ. In Rwanda, weekend begins on Thursday. Everywhere is shut down. Everywhere is shut down. On Friday evening, all the clubs, all the eateries, all the phone centers, everywhere, they begin to roll out stage from Thursday till Saturday. Right? So it depends on your country's practice and policy. There are countries that Sunday is their first official day. Do you understand? Alright, so you must establish when you're asked to talk about your weekend, you must talk about your weekend beginning or establishing when it begins. So you talk about your activity on the first day of the weekend and you move over to Saturday and wrap it up on that Saturday. Do not mention Sunday if Sunday is not part of the weekend in your locality. Please, do you understand this? You may also be asked, please tell me about your favorite pet while growing up as a child. As for people that had pets. Now, in IELTS, I like that expression. In IELTS, there is no rule that compels you to say the truth and nothing but the truth. Right? What they want is what? Expression.
Yeah, expression.
They want you to speak. And it's not possible that you must have experienced everything in life at this moment. So certain questions may be things you may not have experienced. So but you may have watched somewhere or heard somewhere. So build a situation around that question and express it. It is only you that will tell whether it's true or you creatively expressed that. Please, do you understand? Then, when you are asked to talk about your favorite pet while growing up as a child, what's a pet? It's anything, no? Spoon can be your pet. Yes, spoon can be a pet to you. Thank you. Now, a pet is something that you use to keep yourself company, right? So, if dog is your pet, if this guy, how many of us can relate to, there is this particular thing this way?
Done.
That this particular stuff that we had while growing up, blue, it could be blue, green, it could be red, yellow. It's just a rubber.
Sometimes it's something like
something on the head, right? Right?
Some girls will play it.
Yes. Some people will put it on the back and take rubber to. That is their pet. So there's nothing. In fact, their food they're supposed to eat, they will take some and put and say it. When they do it, they themselves doing no. That is the pet that is eating it. Do you understand? So whatever it is that you value as your pet is your pet. Nobody tells you what your pet will be.
My phone.
It could be your phone, anything. No, to be sincere, pet is anything. Right? You know the way people worship anything as their own God. That's the way pet is too. What you cherish. Right? So, whatever it is, please talk about it. So, if it is something like this, you must establish the color, the gender, the looks, why you cherish that particular thing so much. How you feel when you're with it and when it's taken away from you. That makes it your pet, your favorite pet. What if you're asked to talk about your favorite color? Your favorite color. I must advise that when an IELTS examiner asks you about your favorite color, please don't try to be so pious to begin to pick your real life color that does not have anything for you to talk about. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Speaking test requires you to express yourself. So if you are picking a color that doesn't give you the platform or the room to speak or say something about it, then definitely you are shooting yourself in the foot. So pick a color that you can say something about. It could be blue, it could be red, it could be it could be anything, right? So always ensure that you pick a color that would allow you to express yourself. That's what matters. Very important. So after that, you may also be asked to talk about a book you read recently. Do you read? Do you pick up books to read? IELTS is not really concerned about whether you read or not.
Handouts.
And just for you to.
IELTS is not concerned about whether you actually read or not. And nobody is going to talk about Nobody's going to penalize you because you spoke on something that it may not be considered to be a book that people read on the normal. So if you ask me to talk about the book I've read recently, and maybe the Bible or the Holy Quran is what I read often, that is the book I read recently. It could be your handout, it could be your jotter, it could be your to-do list, right? Now, if you don't even have the culture or habit of reading at all, use the movie, because those that don't read, they're always either on their phone or they are watching one movie or another. Convert that movie to book. Don't stress yourself for anything. You don't have that time. Please tell me about the book you read recently. Oh, thank you for this wonderful question. I was actually looking forward to this. You know. So the last, you watched one movie. That's new Funke Akindele's movie. You begin to talk about it. Convert it to book. Give a number of pages to it. Give the name of the author. That one is your own. Right? Then you give the principal actor to be the major protagonist. Please, do you understand? So these are things you want to factor in the book. Then lastly, what moral lesson does the book teach? Factor that in. Right? So that's just how it goes. That's how it goes. Let's proceed. If you are also asked to talk about a movie you watched not too long ago and you're not a movie person, convert the situation around where you stay as a movie. Or convert a book you read recently to a movie. Right? So talk about it. Always ensure that you are confident. Look at them when you are saying that thing. Then I must say, always remember whatever you say. Because some examiners might twist the question after some time. They might ask you the question in a diverse way to actually reconfirm what you said earlier. So don't always
lie too much.
Don't always forget what you say.
Don't complicate yourself.
Okay, so let's proceed. You may be asked to talk about if you enjoyed eating chocolate while growing up as a child. Did you enjoy eating chocolate while growing up as a child?
Yes, but my parents.
Yes.
Stopped me.
It may be yes, it may be not really. However, so if it is not really, it could be because my parents were not so well to do, so we prioritized our monies on things that will be better sustaining to us. However, at some point, we were allowed to take little chocolate. But then the chocolate we had then was the type that looked like cube of Maggi, Chocomilk. Some of us would know. Very hard to crack. You sometimes use something to heat it and divide it. Goody goody or Baba Blue. Then that was our chocolate, right? So you want to talk about it. Don't always say outrightly no to every question. Don't always say outrightly no. Yes. Find a way of saying something around it. Do you understand me? Then you may also be asked, do you enjoy attending weddings? It could be yes, it could be no. If it's a yes, then talk about a recent wedding. A recent wedding. If there's no recent wedding, convert the wedding you had 2 years ago to a recent wedding. It's you that know, that will tell that wedding is
mention the date.
You know now. If you tell the date now, we'll know whether it will tell. So, do you enjoy attending weddings? For me, no, normally, no, I don't. But if it's IELTS, oh wow, thank you so much. I actually do. Is Saturdays, weekends are usually meant for weddings for me. So I look forward to Saturdays every other week. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I attended one, my neighbor's wedding. I didn't actually go alone. I went with a couple of my friends and the neighbors that stay around with me. It was so fantastic. The music or the songs played were top notch. The food fantastic. It was the decorations everywhere was so colorful. It was a nice environment. The ambience, 100%. So you are building. I don't know the last time I attended wedding. So, but you just need to use the things you watch or you've read to build the wedding environment. Right? So that's the way to go. Then examiner might ask you, please tell me about your dream car. We're now talking about personal preferences. Your dream car.
Bugatti Veyron.
Sir?
Bugatti Veyron.
Bugatti. I'm not still riding that guy. Bugatti. Ferrari. Okay, Ferrari and Bugatti, they are twins, right?
No, they are different.
They are different. That Bugatti sometimes looks like Ford. Alright. So, but whatever it is that is your dream car, you give the name, the model, then the speed, the shape, the color, your reasons for making it
The
your dream car.
interior.
The interior, very, very.
My dream car is Toyota Corolla.
Your dream car is Toyota
You
Corolla.
change from Bugatti Veyron. You got this.
Because the parts are not difficult.
Do you understand? So, that's very correct. So you want to give reasons,
Parts
it is
are easily
your,
accessible.
yes,
The mechanics
and the level of
technical
car theft of Corolla is very rampant too.
Yes. It consumes less work.
Okay, it consumes less fuel, right? It's the parts are quite affordable and well accessible, right? The auto mechanics for that brand are everywhere. You don't need to start looking for way of bringing it, right?
Easy to maintain.
Easy to maintain, right? So these are different reasons. The interior, the color, the one that,
It's also cheap to acquire.
is cheap even now.
No.
And compared to other cars.
Okay, all right. So that's fine. That's market value. All right. So yes, these are reasons you want to bring in when you are talking about your dream car, right? Then, if you have been asked question about your favorite color, and you're talking about your dream car, don't forget your favorite color, because your dream car.
Red for sure.
Red.
Okay. That's fine. Do you understand what I mean? All right, so these are some of the questions you may then be asked.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Something on favorite color.
Talking about your favorite color, I said you should choose a color that will give you room to express some points, even if it's not your real life favorite color.
Okay.
So if you have been asked question about your favorite color and then the examiner asks you about your dream car, I said remember to factor in that favorite color to be the color the car should come in, right?
Okay. But I want you to throw more light on favorite color. What are the things that you can say about your favorite color?
Alright, my favorite color is actually red. I love that color because of a number of reasons, some of which would be red signifies boldness to me. It helps to control vehicular movement, to reduce accident, because on a traffic light, whenever it shows red, people have to stop to avoid collision. Also red, some people say it is danger, but I see it as charisma. And also one of the reasons I love red is because my favorite football club wears red. They call them the Red Devils. Right? So you see, I'm giving you some of these reasons. You just have to keep talking and talking and talking. Sometimes you might not even be a football fan, but just borrow the club. Alright? Then, of course, whenever I dress in any red attire, people consider me to look so elegant and I'm confident. Right? So just a lot of things you might want to talk about. Then, lastly, let's look at your dream house. Examiner might ask you to talk about your dream house. What's your dream house like? Do you want to live in a Tesla kind of house? Automated house? Where you control the things in the house with a voice command? Curtain, slide. You hear zzz, light on.
You did a mistake.
Right? So you just want to talk about the house, but remember, when the examiner asks you to talk about your dream house, don't forget, there are different types of houses, and they have their names. It's not one bedroom self-contained. It's not the one we call here one room self. There's nothing like one room self-contained in IELTS.
Duplex, bungalow.
Aha. Right? If you want to talk about self-contained, it is called en suite. En suite. That's self-contained.
Please, can you write it on the board?
No, it's not O-N. It's French.
Okay.
That's when they always say that the house has these bathrooms in it, or that's the
En suite. It's en suite. It's a French old word. Okay. Now, remember we have houses called condo, studio, penthouse, block of flats. So these are things you will now want to go and learn and know how to express yourself. Don't go and say, I live in face me, I face you.
Self-contained.
Right? Okay, so at the end of your part 1, examiner will then bring out a paper called Q card. It's an A4 paper. You had that on the day you did the mock test, right? The speaking mock test. So examiner will give you that mock paper, the Q card. It's an A4 sheet. It contains a situation that you're supposed to describe, right? So when you are given that, when you are given the paper, examiner will also give you a piece of paper. So that piece of paper will be for you to make notes. Write down something you want to, that will be a prompter to you. Please, do you understand this? On the day of your speaking test, there are 2 things you are only allowed to go with. The first, I've talked about it, is what? International passport or means of identification, right? Then the second one you are to go with would be either a pen or a pencil. These are the only 2 things you'll be allowed to go with. Your wristwatch will be taken off. You won't go in with your phone. Your bracelet will be taken off. If you are putting on a sunshade, you have to keep them somewhere. If you are putting any additional attire, maybe you have your complete suit and you tend to you have your complete attire and you tend to wear an additional what do you call it? Waistcoat or anything. You take that off and keep somewhere. Yes, please.
Please, what would you advise, or like, in what mode would you advise us to like dress when we're going there? I think it might.
No. Nobody will tell you what to put on. Nobody.
What would you advise?
I advise you to look very decent and comfortable. Look very decent and comfortable. I'm okay this way. If I choose to put on plain trousers and maybe polo or shirts, whatever, it's fine. Whatever you put on and look comfortable, wear. But don't dress to kill. The females, please don't dress to kill. About that, whatever you put on and be comfortable in, you should go with it. Right? It's not a fashion test, it is a speaking test. Right? Okay. So when you are going in, remember to go with either a pencil or a pen and your international passport. Now, when you get to part 2 stage, the examiner will give you a paper called Q card. So that paper will contain a situation you'll be required to describe. For instance, it could say, describe a day you visited a friend at his or her place of work. I think some of us spoke on that. Describe a day you visited a family member or a friend at his or her workplace. Then, under this instruction, you also get to see 3 or 4 bullet points, prompters. So let's say, for instance, describe a day you visited a family member or a friend at the workplace. Full stop. You should say who you visited, where the person works, why you visited the person, and how you felt, or how you felt after visiting the person. 4 bullet points. Who you visited, when you visited the person, where the person works, and how you felt after visiting the person. These 4 bullet points will guide you to respond or describe that major question. Please, do you understand this? These 4 bullet points will guide you to describe this situation. So when you are talking about who you visited, of course, you give the name of the friend or the family member. The day you visited the person, you give the date. Where the person works, you give the name and the address or location. Then, why you went there, you talk about it. And how you felt when you went there, or after going there. So you want to talk about all of that. These things, when you have responded to these 4 areas, you have answered the question. Do we understand? But remember, this particular part 2, you are required to speak for 2 good minutes. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Is there a clock?
There is no clock.
So you just time yourself.
The examiner is timing you. Once you speak up to the 2 minutes, the examiner will step in and tell you, thank you so much, we've come to the end of the speaking test part 2. Right? But if you've not spoken for 2 minutes, you've not spoken up to 2 minutes, the examiner will keep staring at you. The examiner does not talk. The only thing the examiner will say is, alright, that is the end of your speaking test part 1. Let's go straight into the second part. So here is your cue card, and this is a piece of paper right there which you can make notes if you wish. You have a few seconds to do that. When the time elapses, the examiner will then come in. Alright, so that's your time. You are going to be speaking for about 2 minutes. You have the floor and your time starts now. The examiner is not talking at this point. So your 2 minutes begin. Alright? So you will then begin to speak for 2 minutes. So once the 2 minutes elapses, examiner then tells you, alright, thank you so much. That's the end of your speaking test part 2. Let's now go straight into the third part.
But is it possible to still be looking at what to...
That piece of paper you must have jotted something will be with you. Okay. That's your prompter. You can be looking at it while talking. But remember, you are meant to keep eye contact with the examiner, right? Yeah, so you're like, alright, thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk about this particular day. I have my friend, because we are still friends up till today. Her name is blah blah blah. She, at that point in time, she worked with so and so, and she occupied the position of XYZ. So she has always been inviting me to her workplace, but I'm an introvert. I love to be so reserved. I don't like to socialize. But it's a memorable day for her, so I decided to make it a lot more remarkable. I'm trying to paraphrase now, memorable. I don't want to repeat memorable, so I'm using remarkable. I arranged with the birthday guys, you know these people that do surprise birthday package. So I arranged with them because it was on her birthday. So I told them I would like them to go with me to her office. She works at NNPC, there at 262 in Abuja. I've answered 2 questions. So I've given her name, who you visited, where she worked. Can you see? So I'm using a story now to answer or respond to this question. So she works at NNPC, located at Wuse, the NNPC Tower. That's the name of the building. So when I got there with the surprise birthday team, the security protocol was quite tight. So initially they didn't allow us in. So they wanted me to call her to inform her, but I told them this is a surprise, and I showed them the crew I came with. So they kind of understood my plan and decided to just let me in. So they showed me the way to her office. She works on the 4th floor. So we used the escalator. So when we got there, it was a coincidence because while the escalator was, is it escalator? That's the lift?
Elevator.
Elevator, right? Yeah. The escalator is step. All right. While the elevator was opening, she was just right there trying to come in. So when she saw me, she was dumbfounded. tears of joy started dropping down her cheeks. So I shocked her because she never I was the least person she expected to actually come out. Alright? Not to talk of coming to her office. Immediately the crew saw her, the trumpeter started blowing. I'm doing this during my speaking test. Right? So I'm trying to demonstrate fully. So I decided dancing and singing around her. Her colleagues were also surprised at that point, but they couldn't help it and to just come around her and also celebrate her alongside with my team. So she was so shocked and surprised by this particular plan. It was fun for me because I achieved something I had never done for any of my friends. And her office was quite cool, so cozy, spacious, and she took me on a tour around her office. I actually enjoyed my day and I was fulfilled because I achieved that birthday surprise package. It was quite wonderful. 2 minutes must have actually elapsed. So, and you're telling the story, you're responding to those bullet points. Please, if you don't generate a storyline, in 40 seconds you have expressed those 4 bullet points, I tell you. And once you don't create a storyline and you express yourself in that 40 seconds, examiner will wait for you for that 2 minutes. The examiner will be doing breathing exercise with the examiner. Right? So they'll just keep staring at you and you are looking in your mind, you are saying, oh God, we die here today. Right? So, but it's actually going to write against you. It means you don't have good ideas to sustain a conversation. That's what it means. So it is important you create a good storyline to respond to your cue card question. So at the end of that, examiner will tell you you've come to the end of your part 2, then you proceed to the third part. Now for the third part, examiner will then begin to ask you few more questions just as in part 1. So examiner would ask you questions that relate to any of those 3 areas I talked about some time ago. Can you still remember? I said your part 3 questions can come from your profession, right? It could also come from questions that relate to a visit, right? So the examiner might ask you, where do people go to when they have celebrations to, mark? Where do people go to, right? You might say park, it's still a visit. You might say garden, you might say hotel, you rent a hall. Do you understand? So it depends. Then, the examiner might also ask you, for instance, please tell me, how do babies in the womb grow hairs on their head?
How do what?
How do babies in the womb grow hairs on their head?
I don't know.
This is weird question. Weird question. I can tell you, even some medical doctors cannot respond to this, except embryologists. Embryologists. They are the only people that can give you some theoretical assertions as to how babies in the womb grow hairs on their head. So what do you do at this point when you are asked a weird question? This is where I tell people, speak nonsense in good English. You know what that means? They'll hear and they'll be shocked. Now, he asked me, all right, Ben, please tell me, how do babies grow hairs on their head while in the womb? First and foremost, I would just take a deep breath. Wow, this is a very big one. I didn't see it coming. Please, do you mind if I take a few seconds to think about this? Shady wants to ask a question. So I'll ask for a few seconds to think about this. Examiner doesn't have an option, they'll give me. When they give me a few seconds to think about it in my head, I'll be dying, I'm not thinking of nothing. Right? Because there's nothing you want to think. What do you want to think? Nothing. So you keep doing some breathing exercise. When you feel the breath is enough, you now come back and say, all right, so this is a very big nut to crack, but I'll give you my best shot. So as regards the question, I'm actually going to start by saying, first and foremost, the growth of hairs on a baby's head while in the womb is, to me, mysterious because it's something that is natural. I can't categorically say that this is when it happens, but I know at some point you just see it. To some extent, some medical experts will say that for you to notice that the baby is beginning to grow hairs in the womb, the pregnant woman will start feeling some itch on their tummy, right? So, but that aside, I also want to establish that the food that a pregnant woman eats also determines how babies in the womb grow hairs. And then it is also genetic, right? I want to answer the question. Well, I'm engaging examiner B. This is what they want. They will hear. So you begin. Now let's talk about the natural part of it. I can attempt to say that no one stays in the womb to actually observe how the hairs come out. But it is something that has been factored by the Creator that there should be hairs on the human head. And this must begin from while the body parts are developing. Most times it is considered to come out during the third trimester, right? Based on what I have read. I'll pause at that. I will continue. Now, on the part of the genetic, the parents form whether or not the child will have hairs on their heads. Let's take, for instance, if Two-Face Idibia, popularly known as Innocent Idibia, the popular musician, if he did not get married to a woman who is hairy, there is high tendency that the children will be bald because he is naturally bald. So the parents' genes will always play very crucial roles in determining the hair growth of babies in the womb. Now, on the path of nutrition, most pregnant women are often advised to consume more of fruits because fruits provide the best nutrients needed by fetus and babies in the womb to develop, and it helps in hair growth. I have not answered this question, but you as an examiner, you'll be listening to me. So when you are tired, you tell me, all right, thank you very much, and you ask me another question, and then we move. So don't stress yourself. These are weird questions. What you need to do is speak nonsense in good English. Take them around that particular question, but you don't answer it, because if you answer wrongly. Huh? So that's the way to go. When you are asked weird questions, beat around it. Let's take, for instance, if you are privileged to play God for one day, where will you reposition the ears? Rakib, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
If you are opportuned to be God for one day, where will you reposition the human ears? Okay, why are you laughing now? Is that how you laugh at your examiner?
Yes, sir, you need to laugh at me.
You laugh at the examiner? Okay. If you are opportuned to play God for one day, where will you reposition the human ears to? That's the question. Madam, where will you reposition it to? You are not God. I didn't say you are God, they call you God. I say if you are privileged to play God for one day, where will you change the position of the ears to? You will never be privileged to play God. Okay. Let's look at, I think Sylvia has something to say. No, let them hear you. Now, if you are privileged to play God for one day, where will you represent the human ears?
If privileged to play God for one day, I think I will You position the ears to the back of the head. That's the closer to the occipital lobe, I would say.
The two of them.
Yes, yes.
They will look like wings on your neck. Right? But that is perfect. Because the question is asking about repositioning. It's not considering whether it is a perfect position. If you like, put one on the left armpit and put one on the left buttocks. Right? That's none of their business. The question is repositioning. But if you want to be so religious, you might want to say, well, God is the omniscient. He knows where is best for the ears to be. However, for the purpose of this exam, say something. Right? They are just trying to test your own opinion about certain things. Right? So, those are some of the weird questions that may come up. But they don't always throw weird questions at people. If weird questions will be asked, it will be related to either global warming, ICT, alright? So you should also acquaint yourself with something that relates to global warming. About how acidic rain, we know about acidic rain, alright?
Yes.
How it happens. You know about the artificial sun the Chinese are trying to build, right?
Yes.
So you want to know what the importance would be.
247.
They want to generate 24 hours sunlight.
If you don't have an idea.
This is where IELTS comes in. No, IELTS is not looking to ask you questions that you have an idea about. They are testing your exposure.
Use English and tell them rubbish.
Your exposure.
Can they ask things about insurgents, Boko Haram?
No, it's none of their business. It's none of their business. So they will just engage you on global happenings, right? So please, feel free, express yourself when questions are asked. Express yourself, because that is the primary essence of the test, speaking test. So this is where, and when you're expressing yourself, don't forget to use advanced English. Don't forget to bring in contractions, right? Don't forget to keep eye contact with the examiner. And most importantly, don't forget your confidence at home. Go with it. Do you understand? So this is the way the IELTS speaking test goes. I'm going to forward a very long list of speaking test questions to you on WhatsApp. What you need to do would be, get someone around you to ask you those questions. Then respond to the person. You can respond to the person and record whatever you say. And listen to them again by yourself. And then score yourself. It will tell you whether you are confident or fidgety, if you can improve or not. But if you have no one around you that can ask you the questions, rather, what you need to do would be, when I send these questions to you, pick up a phone, ask the questions and record them. When you ask each question, give yourself about 6 seconds before you ask the next one. So when you are done, save the question, then play the recording. So when you play it, it will ask you, within the 6 seconds, you do what? You now respond. So it will be like someone interviewing you. Do you understand? So, but please build confidence. Very important. With confidence, even if you don't use advanced English, you will still be able to express yourself correctly. When you blow the background in, please ensure to correct yourself before you continue speaking. If you don't, it will be recorded against you that you don't have the right words and grammar to express yourself. Alright, this is where we're going to call it a day. I believe we've been exposed to the speaking test. By Monday, we shall continue with listening test. Listening test. So please go and practice, develop the essay, and bring on Monday. You know, I told us about the essay, right? Yes. Develop one of the essay questions, not question number 3. We have treated that. develop any other one and
Yes, in
submit.
writing.
Yes, write a complete essay using the templates and all the teachings we had yesterday. Then bring it Monday and I would evaluate or assess. Then also practice the listening and the speaking test, which I'll forward questions to you today. And you also get someone to help you or support you by asking you and assessing you too. We shall have practical sessions within next week by God's grace. Please, I will also appeal to us, if you have access to YouTube. If you have access to YouTube, please go to our YouTube channel and kindly subscribe to our TV, please. TATEC TV. Every of the classes we're having are also posted there. So in case you want to rewatch, in case you want to rewatch, you can go to TATEC TV on YouTube and rewatch all of our recorded training sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.